Our guest is Chuck Nash, Captain, U.S. Navy, retired. He knows military strategy, precision flying, and a lot more. He advises the Pentagon on new technology as the founder and president of Emerging Technologies International. It's fair to say that our world is dotted with a whole lot of trouble spots, and that the outgoing administration's policies have not been able to deal with them very effectively. Captain Nash is uniquely qualified to help us understand not just what's going on, but what we ought to be thinking about doing next. We're very happy to welcome back Captain Nash. Captain, I'm going to start with Ukraine and the fact that North Korea just sent 10,000 troops to help Russian forces who have taken some huge losses. First of all, let's talk about that, and then I want to get into what the U.S. has done. But is that a big thing, or is it sort of not that significant contribution from the North Koreans?
Well, I think adding in any additional partners and any additional strength into the Russian arsenal and Russian capability is not really a good thing. And I also believe, Governor, that the only thing holding the lid on this right now, since the Biden administration in its last 60 days has approved long-range strike use of our missiles and guidance systems for long-range strikes inside of Russian territory, the only thing holding the lid on this right now is I think Vladimir Putin is counting on Trump finding a solution to end this whole thing. And so even though that is so provocative, I don't think he's going to act on it. I really don't, other than on the periphery to show what could be done. And in that regard, a Russian captained Chinese flagged ship just dragged its anchor in the Baltic and severed some prime telecommunications cables, undersea cables that connected Finland and Lithuania and Germany. So there are lots of things that the Russians can do without resorting to nuclear weapons, although that is part of the saber rattling, if you will, where he just recently approved a change to Russian doctrine on the use of nuclear weapons. I don't think he's going to do it, but bringing in the North Koreans, their weapons, he's flying Iranian drones. This is all too much right now, and it needs to back down. And I think President Trump's the only one that can do it.
Not all that glitters is gold. You've heard that old expression before, and it's true. There are a lot of things that glitter, and they're not gold. Why do we even say that? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because gold really does have value. A lot of things, it's just show. But gold, well, it holds its value no matter what happens to the dollar, what happens in inflation. Gold has real value. Always has, always will. That's why I buy gold and silver from the good folks at American Hartford Gold. They're the one and only precious metals company that I buy from, that I recommend, and that I trust. I hope you'll call American Hartford Gold or text them and request a free, no-strings-attached gold and silver information kit. When you do that, you can learn how to protect your own nest egg with a tax-advantaged gold IRA. And if you call now, you can get up to $15,000 of free silver on qualifying purchases. Call them at 844-417-1010 or text Mike to 998899 for a free information kit from American Hartford Gold. You mentioned something that I wanted to get into, and that is the U.S. authorizing really deep in the side of Russia's strikes. I've heard people say that there is no precedent for a president this late in his lame duck term to be authorizing that level of escalation. So, Captain, walk us through how big of a change of policy does this represent? And help us understand, why on earth would Joe Biden wait till the last 60 days of his presidency to do something like this, to authorize it? Is it because he really thinks this is a great idea, or is he trying to sucker punch the incoming president?
I think it's part of the latter, but the other side of this, Governor, is I don't believe that President Biden is acting with the full resources as of president. I think he has a cabal that surrounds him. They're making decisions, and I'm not sure he's really cognizant of the gravity of these things let alone that he is the one making the decisions. I think this is on autopilot, and it's a dangerous, dangerous thing to have on autopilot right now.
I couldn't agree more. If he's not fully cognizant of these decisions that are being implemented, the implications of this could be dramatic. I'm hoping that you're right, that Vladimir Putin is sort of waiting this out and waiting till Trump shows up so that maybe there can be some type of de-escalation. What would a truce look like? I mean, both sides have been pretty well dug in. Zelensky in Ukraine is certainly wanting to defend his country and keep the Russians from overtaking it. But Putin has shown no signs of backing down, despite heavy casualties taken from his own troops. What's the formula? What could even be put on the table that both sides would at least listen to?
Both sides are going to have to give in. And by that, Putin, what he's saying is that he wants Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporizhia, and some other areas of the Donbass, because what he's looking for is what he's always wanted since he took Crimea back, and that is a land bridge from Mother Russia directly to Crimea without having to cross that one bridge that he did have to cross or go through Ukrainian territory. So he wants to keep that land. He's sacrificed 100,000 plus troops to get that land, and he doesn't want to give it up. If you look at Zelensky, he's saying, hey, my country was invaded starting with Crimea. I want that back. It started in Crimea. It will end with Crimea. And that's almost a quote, and I believe it is a quote. So you have these two intractable sides. They're going to have to give. And what Putin is going to have to give on is he's going to have to give back some of the territory that he has taken. And Zelensky is going to have to realize that he's going to have to give up that territory, and no NATO membership and no foreign troops stationed on Ukrainian soil. It will be a situation where the Russians can look at that and say, okay, this is no longer a threat.
Personal safety has become a major concern. So would it be helpful to have a new and easy way to protect you and your loved ones? Well, one way to stop the threat without having to shoot and possibly kill someone is available. Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee, and I found exactly how to have full protection without lethal force. It looks like a gun, acts like a gun, but it shoots chemical irritants and kinetic rounds, not actual bullets. The name is Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A. Now imagine being able to protect yourself without the legal or moral concerns of carrying an actual firearm. The Byrna is legal in all 50 states. No background checks are required, and it can be shipped directly to your doorstep. Most importantly, it's built to immediately stop an attacker without taking a life. The peace of mind you have is free. It's easy to use and doesn't have the strong recoil that real guns have, and you don't need ear protection either. It's assembled by hand right here in the U.S., fully trusted by law enforcement, and oftentimes it only needs to be shown and not fired to turn an attacker away. Don't wait until something happens. Go to Byrna.com/Huckabee. Learn more about this effective alternative to deadly force. 500,000 out there are already in use. Right now, you'll get a special 10% discount as well. That's Byrna, Byrna.com/Huckabee. Don't feel vulnerable any longer.